But
So you don't want to like just start every show with "Welcome to FKURGeneration"
we absolutely can.
with your host Brandon Dupuis and your co-host Michael King.
It seems like you've already started, so why don't you just keep going?
I mean, we could like do a recording of something like that, and just that'd be the start of every episode.
Ah, fuck it, keep going. Go ahead.
I do like our, let me tell you about this guy thing.
Yeah,
Let me tell you about this guy.
I'll tell you about this fucker right here.
Yeah.
I do too.
It was like, let me tell you about this fucker over here.
Yep.
You know what this fucker is going to talk about? We're going to do some updates on the toe sucking news out of Oklahoma.
Those are not words that I would have ever expected to say anytime soon.
High school toe sucking controversy,
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah, God, I hope it's not a controversy. I hope it's just straightforward, but yeah.
And then we will do the Supreme Court's ruling on Donald Trump being on the Colorado ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will introduce, and we being me, will introduce this court scandal involving the Georgia district attorney, who is in a testimony about her relationship with the prosecuting attorney prosecuting Donald Trump for election interference in 2020.
Okay.
And that case is not about Donald Trump, it's about their relationship when it started, that type of thing.
Okay. So let's start with the fun of toe sucking.
All right. You see, I knew you had to think for toe sucking. You're like, as soon as I told you about it, you've just been all over it.
In all
like peanut butter on feet.
Like peanut butter on feet. In all of the bullshit news that I have to see all the time about the election, it's nice to get something to float through the cracks of oh, high school toe sucking. Like, it's nice to get something different.
You found a floater.
Yeah. So I've got some updates for you guys on the toe sucking incident of 2024. Some more news articles have come out about it. Some more news stations have picked up on it and are now running the story. And so basically, we got some clarification that it seems like the superintendent of the school district didn't know anything about it, which is good thing to claim right off the bat.
Yeah,
I didn't know. But I guess some of the responses that have come from, I don't remember if he or she, but from the superintendent, is that, basically they're pretty upset about the whole thing. They didn't know anything about it, and that they're opening up an investigation on the school as how it all came about, how the decision was made, and then ultimately, how it got to the point that it did.
So they're doing an investigation.
Yeah, so they're doing an investigation as far as I'm aware. So I'll keep you guys updated as I learn more over the next few weeks. We'll see if anything more comes out. But they are doing an investigation, which is good to see.
Could you imagine something of magnitude where you have no idea what's happening at school until you watch it on Fox News?
Yeah, it's insane. This comes up all the time on like our job sites, right? Because we have this whole like chain of command of reporting, right?
Right.
So like goes from this person to this person to this person, so that person way up here in the clouds isn't hearing about the story on the news the next day, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I can't imagine like waking up one morning and turning on the morning news and you're like, toe sucking, that's insane. And then you see Deer Creek School District, you're like, that's mine. Like, I
picture it together. The guy has his like Swanson's TV dinner sitting in his recliner, peels the plastic off of it,
right.
Reaches over, turns on the TV, grabs his beer, TV comes on, takes a swig, sees Deer Creek School toe sucking controversy, and just all the beer comes right out.
It comes out of his nose. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that has to be one of those things where it's like, oh, fuck, I'm not going to work tomorrow. That sounds like not a me problem.
So I wonder what the over-under is, because you can bet on anything in Vegas, right? The over-under, did the superintendent know about it and is denying it because the superintendent would rather be unaware as opposed to being inept?
Yeah. So I have my suspicions because from what we've read and from what we've talked about on the podcast, this was a district level fundraiser, for one. For two,
they raised $152,000.
Right, exactly. So I have my suspicion because if it's a district level fundraiser, then I would think as a superintendent you're involved and at some level. And then two, when you raise $150K and you don't realize that you raised $150K from students sucking toes, or at least that was a part of it, I don't know if it's blatant ignorance or like you're not involved, and it's a wash, right? Because when you say that you're not involved and you didn't know about it, it's like, okay, cool, you didn't know about it, so there was nothing for you to stop because you didn't know. But at the same time, like, there was a district level fundraiser and you didn't know what was happening at your fundraiser. I don't know. It's catch-22 on, which side you should be on.
The superintendent's probably like, you do what you want.
Right.
As I get 5% into what I vote.
Right. Exactly. Superintendents and like a lot of the people on that like level are kind of like our government when it comes to them being ridiculously old and have no idea what's going on in their school system. So,
right.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's like, to me, that's like kindergarten for politicians.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like, I can do this here, learn some strategies, and then I could run for office. I was like a bartender a year ago, and I had all this debt. And after getting elected, I now have multi-millions of dollars in my bank account on a $120,000 salary.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But no corruption here.
Yeah.
Our politics can be trusted on all sides.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see what unfolds from the investigation.
Yeah, I wonder how long that's going to take.
I don't know. Hopefully it's quick. I mean, I can't imagine it taking that long to figure this out. There's got to be some sort of paper trail or playing event that shows toe sucking or whatever the hell was somewhere. Although I imagine all the teachers involved are currently burning those records right now.
Yeah, but you could just talk with the student saying, hey, do you want to go to college or not? Because if you don't speak up, you're not going to...
We're not giving you a good review.
Yeah, good luck with the admissions when, they come to us for the letters of recommendation.
Right. That's true. Yeah. So, speaking of investigations, I'll let you give this one, but the Supreme Court made a ruling the other day.
So, there's been several states, not a lot, but several, a handful of states that have decided that they didn't want to put Donald Trump on their presidential ballot for the November elections. Right. Because...
And the primary too? Or just the presidential?
Just the presidential. And because of the January 6th event, which they're saying was an insurrection.
Right. Led by... Their claim was it was led by Trump,
right? And
that was the way that they were allowed to do this per the Constitution or whatever they were citing.
And just to throw facts out there has not been any trials or convictions for insurrection.
Correct.
All right.
The only trials or people that have taken place are some of the members involved in the event that they caught on day of.
Right.
But I don't think there's been any trials regarding government officials.
A little bit more to that, which is interesting that I wanted to follow up on. But there was a reporter covering the January 6th event that went into the White House, and that person has now been arrested.
Okay.
All right. You're treading a line right there with arresting a reporter covering an event. All right. So... and the last I heard, they didn't even tell the reporter what the charges were. So I'm looking forward to watching that. But anyway, So these states have decided we're not going to put him on the ballot because of January 6th, and it was taken up by the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the states didn't have the right to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ruling wasn't because they said there was no insurrection. The ruling was saying that the states don't have the right to remove things from federal ballots.
Right. They were saying that that is up to the Congress and the Supreme Court because it's a federal decision. So the states don't have basically a federal level of power to just take them off the ballot.
And so people are upset about that. I don't think a lot of people. I think maybe the media might blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the right call, right?
I do too.
If we're going to, like we talked about on that episode, right? If we're going to abide by the whole guilty till proven innocent, then that's the way it needs to be, right? Nobody has been charged with anything.
Some would argue that you're innocent till proven guilty, though.
All right, innocent. Sorry. All right, the other way around. Too much caffeine. Innocent until proven guilty, like our justice system is supposed to work, then that's the way it needs to be, right? Everybody may slander people from the media's perspective, saying that they're guilty before they've actually been proven in our court system. But the reality is, innocent until proven guilty, you can't make a decision just because you feel that the person is guilty if it hasn't gone through trial. If it goes through trial and that's the chain of events, fine.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet.
You follow the process, right? People are upset about it, and they're comparing it to the Supreme Court case with the Texas border.
Okay.
Where the Supreme Court said Texas could not defend their borders, in essence, right? But what that really was, the Supreme Court ruled that Homeland Security can go in there and remove that remove the razor wire.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. And it wasn't saying Texas could not put razor wire down. It wasn't saying Texas didn't have any, authority on their border. It was just limited to that one thing. So you can't really compare the two things. I just know that there's a lot of misinformation about that Texas border. And so people are using that misinformation as part of their argument for who cares what the Supreme Court says, just take them off anyway.
Right. Yeah. And they gave them the ability to do that. They did. The state, has pushed back, but it's one of those things where it's like they did what they were allowed to do and they did it, and we put more back and they keep doing it and, whatever. But yeah.
And so I know Illinois was the most recent one to remove him from the ballot. So
yeah,
they're about to put him back on. Yeah. And I know those state attorney generals are upset about it, but
I mean, it is what it is, right? I don't think that anybody should be removed unless there's a constitutional, a legitimate reason why they should be removed,
right?
And not just one that we've fabricated. If the people, as much as everybody says these are the wrong choices for America, we still make that decision. Yeah. So we've talked about this before, but we go through this every 4 years. As much as everybody says that, that's not the way people vote. So it must not be true. That must not be how they feel.
What do they call it? This is like oppression by the minority. It's like you can't have the 1% oppressing the 99%.
Right. So. Yeah, exactly. So good to hear. That was the decision that I think most expected, and I think most people, regardless of what the media says, we're actually hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
So
speaking of Donald Trump,
yes,
he finds a way to always be in the news.
Yeah, there's a few key players out there that find their way to always somehow be in the news, and he's one of them.
It's like free advertising,
right?
I mean, there was a saying a long time ago that went with, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Right. Yeah.
And I think he might be proving it true.
Yeah.
But I bring that up because there is that election interference case in Georgia
Mhm.
from the 2020 election where the district attorney was trying him for election fraud,
Mhm. Or
malfeasance,
interference. Mhm.
election interference, one of those things.
Yeah.
Basically, he fought too hard on Georgia and the vote count and was making demands of counting the votes, find the votes that I need, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so they're trying to say that was, election interference and voter fraud and that kind of thing. And it was being tried, but then it got stopped.
Right. Recently, right? You said?
Yeah, a few weeks ago,
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, and it got stopped because the prosecuting attorney and the district attorney who hired him, I won't say they got into trouble, but there was some evidence brought to light that put their relationship and integrity on the line.
Okay.
And so they had to pause that case and start investigating the prosecuting attorney and the district attorney.
Mhm.
Right. And what's going on is the district attorney's Fani Willis and the prosecuting attorney is Wade, and I don't remember his last name. I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
So I'm really immature. Fani Willis is a really funny name.
It is. I think technically it's pronounced Fani.
Oh, Fani Willis.
It's Fani, and it's Georgia.
French for Fanny. Fani Willis.
Yeah. It's Fani, and it's Georgia, so I'm rolling with Fanny.
They are the peach state.
Exactly. So they're being looked at for having an inappropriate relationship for basically the supervisor and employee, right? Did this person get the contract? Did this company that the prosecuting attorney worked for get the contract because of the relationship with her? Mm-hmm. And little bits of information where like he billed the district attorney and got paid for 20 hours worth of work in one day.
Oh,
all right. So it kind of raises
works
an
really
eyebrow.
hard.
Right? Yeah. And then they've been on like 5 vacations together in a 5 or 6 month period.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, so they're dating. What's the big deal? It's like, well, when the person giving you money is receiving the benefit of you spending money on them.
Right.
Some places call it a kickback.
Yeah, right.
So there's proof and evidence and admission that, yeah, they went on these 5 vacations and they put everything on his card, but then she paid him back in cash.
Gotcha.
Right. And so there's no paper trail for cash.
Right.
Right. And there's no paper trail where she withdrew money because you're not going to an ATM machine and withdrawing $5,000. Right. So there's no paper trail. And, well, I just have thousands of dollars in cash stashed in my house. Mm-hmm. Right. Which is great. You're just broadcasting to the world what house to break into.
Yeah, where you store all your money.
Yeah. So that's part of the problem. But the bigger problem is they're saying that their relationship started after the case started, after he was hired. But there's other people testifying that their relationship started prior. Mm-hmm. Now, because they argued that it started afterwards, under oath, if it comes to pass that their relationship started earlier, now they've perjured themselves. They've lied in the court of law.
Right.
And as attorneys, that's damning.
Yeah.
That's like a doctor killing somebody on heart surgery and saying, yeah, I'm blind. I just didn't feel like reporting that.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like letting you know.
So that's the real concern, because the other part, the relationship thing, that's an ethics thing. Fine them $100,000. Government's going to pay for it anyway, so taxpayers pay for it.
Right.
Blah blah blah. But the lying under oath in the court of law, that could get them. Not only could that get them disqualified from the case, because I think that's what's going to happen. They'll get disqualified from the case. They'll have to find new people to prosecute Trump.
Right.
But it could get that whole Trump case kicked out completely.
Right. Because they're the one that brought it up. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the one brought it up, gathered the evidence. Hey, we get this guy. We're going to get this money. I'm already paying you.
Right.
And we're lying to court. This is like, to me, something like this, if you lie under oath as an attorney and as a district attorney, to me, that's like disbarment kind of.
Yeah, because you are the people that you're trying to be the example that are the people you're trying, right? So when you make other people, everybody that comes in that courtroom that gets up on the stand and, swear under oath that you're going to tell the truth, you should be upholding that value as a part of the court system. Whether you're a juror, a judge, these attorneys, whatever, that's part of your role and responsibility is being those people. So yeah, it's interesting. Also, people are really dumb. Like, if you're going to get away with this plan, like, you shouldn't be taking vacations and like doing all these things that are like, wait a minute, that seems questionable. Like, you just put yourself out there,
right?
And vacations are public. Like, all these things are public. Flights, like, people can look up. Like, I don't know. It just. Be smarter. Like, if you're gonna do these bad things, like,
there's another thing that she did should get her in trouble. Under oath in the court, they're asking about the money, where'd she get the money and that kind of stuff. She goes, just all over the place. I don't just keep everything. It's like you take money out, you buy something, you throw the cash in the drawer type of thing, right? And she said that, like, there's money left over from my campaign, so I just stashed that. It's like, you're not allowed to keep that money. That's called embezzlement.
Oh my God. People incriminate themselves. It's very funny. It happens at work all the time, right? People say something, we're on a call, we're asking questions about one thing specific. People say the other thing is like, well, I did this here. And I was like, wait, you did this wrong at 3 other places? Why would you even bring that up?
Then now we have to go to
that doesn't help you. Yeah, doesn't help you. It's like, well, it's fine. I just kept some of the campaign money. That's what I used to pay for it. Like, wait a minute.
So if these two get kicked off the case and they bring in new attorneys, like let's say the assistant district attorney and a new company to take over, I would say pro-Trump people will probably be mad and protest, and automatically whatever ruling gets made there is going to get appealed, right, by the Trump campaign if he's found guilty with this because of the scandal. But then if they just acquit Trump, then the other side is going to lose their shit.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Right? Both sides are going to lose their shit no matter which way it goes. Yeah. The whole, like, I don't know. It's unfortunate because we're just having all of these, like, cases and trials and, like, all of these things. And it's gotten really bad recently over these last few years, and it sucks because, like, we have this situation where you have something it's 4 years, like, we're 4 years later into it. We're about to have another election, and these are types of trials that can change the course of the entire election. And we're 4 years into it. It just, I don't know. It's unfortunate that, like, some of these things are, like, taking this long. And I get it, the legal system, all that fun nonsense, but it's I don't know. It just has the potential to change a lot of things, and we just really drag our feet on this.
Now the sad part is Fani Willis is a Gen Xer. Fani Willis, you are a disgrace to my generation.
Unfortunately, I automatically make the assumption that anyone in government is Gen X or older because that's who pretty much is in there.
I'll be frank with you. I just believe everybody's a millennial. If it's fucked up, it's a millennial.
Well, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. I mean, that's fair. My generation kind of just assumes it's a boomer if it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Even if it was somebody from our gen. So that's fair.
So I had to look it up. I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that we're a show about generations. So I thought maybe it was pertinent.
Well, I'll just put this out there for you guys. If I give an opinion on something, it's my generational opinion. We'll just put it that way and just flat the assumption like that's my generational opinion.
Yeah, same here. I am Gen X.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, get out of my generation. You don't I represent you. All Gen Xers out there, I represent you.
Yep. Or at least the 65 people that subscribe to it.
I have been duly appointed by myself to represent all of Gen X.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the Asians. I brought him in for that aspect too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our HR department said I could not hire another white man to be on the other side of this podcast. So
that's why you're hanging at Cracker Barrel looking for a co-host, and they said you can't do that.
Yeah. They said I am not allowed to do that. So
yeah, and that's why you went to yakisoba shop and found a Vietnamese guy.
Yep. I found I used cats as bait. Let them run free.
That's funny. It's funny that you say that because a Facebook friend made this post about how he was petting his cat, and they just out of the blue hissed and did the bite thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about, oh no, we're not doing that here. I'll throw your ass out to the garage, to the barn or whatever, and you can leave this cold house. Leave the warm house and live it on the cold. And people are supporting him. Yeah, you got to treat these. I was like, hey, just show the cat a walk. It works for me.
We always threaten my cat at home that we're going to turn her into orange chicken if she doesn't behave. So I actually have a picture of her. This has nothing to do with anything. I'll put it up, I think, if I can find it. But I have a picture of her sitting in the walk. It's a very great image.
That's awesome. That's fresh.
Yeah. Yep. Fresh. And anything else? You got anything else to bring to light?
Not today. I think that's the update and the piece to talk about. And Super Tuesday is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be something to ruminate on possibly, because it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Kind of sets the tone for it kind of sets the tone for what all of us already knew, but just finalizes it.
Is it going to be as big of a blowout as everybody expects? And is Nikki Haley going to drop out or just
keep running just to run?
Just stay into the very end at a bloody pulp?
Yeah. Yeah,
but maybe she heard Fani Willis and she says, I can keep all the money from the campaign.
Wait a minute. Oh, I do want to say one thing that we talked about a few episodes ago. I want to publicly apologize if any of my past civics or history teachers are watching for my comments about me not learning about things like the Electoral College and stuff like that. The reason I say this is because I don't remember why I was in it, but I think it was from work, or I'm doing some project management stuff, and I'm using a thing called Quizlet to help study for those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look at those things. And in my Quizlet from high school, I found a whole bunch of things that I had to memorize for tests and stuff about the Electoral College, including how many electors there are for every single state. And all of those types of things. And I saw that and I was like, well, I definitely learned about it at some point. So yeah, I think the answer there is just people are just doing it just to take a test and then they're moving on, because that's apparently what I did. And then all that information left my brain right after. So Just throwing that out there.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
For the white people.
Yeah.
Us Asian people, we had to study 4 hours a day after school.
Yeah.
Or get hit.
Yeah. It's kind of a requirement to stay at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So just want to throw that out there. That was all. That's all I got.
All right.
Alrighty, guys.
It's not that I don't like white people, but y'all just dumb.
Well, if you follow anything that's going on now, white people don't like white people. So that's okay. Alrighty, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to see more of our episodes. Check out some of our past episodes.
Tell us what to talk about.
Yeah, tell us what to talk about. If there's anything on your mind, please let us know. And thank you guys for watching.
Peace be the journey.